Hey guys!
And in today's video we're gonna talk about doing Disneyland Paris in one day. For instance, if you have a business trip or another holiday in Paris and you have one day available for visiting Disneyland Paris, what's the best option? Both parks? One park? We're gonna tell you all about it.
The first question is, which park should you visit when you have only one day to spend in Disneyland Paris? We would advise you to go to Disneyland Park and to skip Disney Studios, because it's better to just focus on one park and do it the best you can, instead of going to two parks and you have to split the day in half. And the Disneyland Park is already so amazingly big, there's so much to do that one day is gone within no time. So it's better to just focus on one park. Walt Disney Studios is going to be refurbished, some rides are closed, and also it's not really the Disney park that you probably have in mind when you think about Disneyland. So our advice is focus on Disneyland Park.
Before you go, do your homework. Install the Disneyland Paris app on your mobile phone and get yourself acquainted with the layout of the park, where the rides are, and get a feel for what the waiting times are in the period that you will go to Disneyland Park. Also very important is to look on the website of Disneyland Paris for the scheduled times of the shows and the parades. Those times you cannot find on the app, but you can find them on the website, and the link is in the description down below. Be aware that the schedules that you find on the website are of that week. So if you're looking on the website 3 months in advance, times can change. Have a look 1 or 2 days prior before you leave, or on the day itself.
Considering the fact that you are in Disneyland Paris for only one day, we highly doubt that you are staying in one of the Disney hotels. But if you do, or you have for some other kind of reason have access to extra magic time, we highly recommend you take full advantage of extra magic time. Make sure you already had your breakfast way before or way after. But anyway, just go for extra magic time, ride whatever ride you can, just take whatever you can and enjoy that time. And wait times are not that long and you can already do a lot of rides in those few hours.
So if you don't have access to extra magic time, here's what we suggest. The park officially opens at 10 o'clock, but most of the times it opens 15-20 minutes earlier. So be at the gates at 9:30, 9:15 even. Wait in line and you're one of the first people with a normal day ticket to get in.
9:15 might seem early, but there will be a lot of people waiting in front of the gate to enter. And if you are one of the first, you will be at the rides as one of the first. So that might be a good idea. Also, you might consider buying an Ultimate Fast Pass. If it's a really crowded day in high season, buying an Ultimate Fast Pass can be great for you, because it means that you have fast passes for so many rides in Disneyland Park and you can make the most out of your day.
Absolutely. Now we're going to take you through the whole day of Disneyland Paris if you only have one day to spend in Disneyland Paris. Taking into account that you don't pay the extra money for the Ultimate Fast Pass. So no extras, no bonus, just a basic entry ticket to the Disneyland Park.
So the park opens at 10 o'clock. Everybody goes inside. First thing you do is go to Big Thunder Mountain and get yourself a Fast Pass for Big Thunder Mountain. If the queue is really small, you can also go into Big Thunder Mountain immediately, but it's also very convenient to get yourself a Fast Pass and go to another ride, so you can be sure that you are going into Big Thunder Mountain that day. But because the crowds are relatively small in the morning, it's also a good time to go for a ride that hasn't got a Fast Pass option. If everything went okay, you have made a top 3 at home, you've done your homework, and you are now in Disneyland Paris with your top 3, you know exactly which ride you want to ride. Now make sure that you are going to ride those rides, tick them off your list, and make sure that you have done those rides, because those are your favorites.
In the meanwhile, don't forget the parades and the shows. Like Elise said, if you've done your homework, you know when shows are being performed, where the parade is starting, and form your day around those fixed times of the shows and parades.
Yes, because that's a big downside from the parades and the shows. They have certain times that they start, and if you miss them, you're out of luck. Another thing that's really important is to keep your energy levels up. Keep yourself energized, make sure you have enough food, because if you don't, you will get grumpy and miserable, and your day won't be as good as it should have been. But to avoid the crowds, it's very important to eat your meals before or after certain times.
For example, lunchtime, go for a quick service restaurant. Sit-down restaurants and the buffet restaurants just take too much time to have your lunch over there, and do it early. For instance, before 11:30, before the crowds come in, or after 2 o'clock when the crowds die down, but before 4 o'clock in the afternoon, because then dinner is coming up.
Another advantage of an early lunch and an early dinner is that once you are done with your lunch and dinner, queues are relatively short because everybody else is going for their lunch and their dinner. So that will mean that you will have a big chance of riding your rides faster than anybody else.
Do you remember those fast passes that you got for Big Thunder Mountain or maybe even another ride? Don't forget those, because yeah, when they expire, they expire. There is a little bit of leeway within 20-25 minutes, so if you're a little bit late, most of the time it's not a real big problem. But if you have a fast pass for 11 o'clock and you show up at 3,
not a good idea. Time goes by so quickly. You probably have seen some parades already or a show. How about your favorites? Did you already ride those rides? Make sure that you check during the day, did I already do what I wanted to do? It's a bit of a schedule-y kind of day that you will have this way. But believe us, if you want to do Disneyland Paris in one day, you need to have a schedule.
So now you've done your checklist, the rides that you really wanted to do, you've seen a show or two or a parade, and luckily for you, there's still time left. What to do now? Our advice would be get one of the rides or maybe several rides that don't have a long waiting line, or if you still have enough time, well, get a popular attraction which does have a little bit of a longer waiting time, but well, you got time on your hands, so why not?
So in other words, choose whatever you want. Would you like to do a few rides that aren't that popular and have a short waiting line? Or do you want to spend your time on one amazing ride that has a long queue? It's up to you, it's your time. The end of the day is almost there and it's time for the fireworks show. Now the question is, are you staying till the end? We hope so, because the fireworks is one of the biggest parts of your Disney experience. But when is the best time to get your spot for the fireworks show?
So you're staying there for the fireworks, yay! And if you're with a family, be ahead of time on Central Plaza. Take at least an hour or an hour and a half in advance before the show starts to pick your spot on Central Plaza.
When it's a busy day.
When it's a busy day.
When it's not that busy, when it's not that crowded, half an hour most of the time is okay.
Yeah. And if you're alone or with just a couple, then there's always a good chance to find a nice spot for viewing the fireworks.
But if it's a busy day, even when you are just with the two of you, you have to be there in time, half an hour at least. But we haven't even talked about the souvenirs yet. If you're going to Disneyland Paris, you would like to bring something home, like this amazing coffee mug, for example, that we drink water from. Yeah, you don't have to buy your souvenirs during the day. So don't spend your time on buying souvenirs, going into the shops. It's fun to shop, I mean, I'm a big fan of it. But if you're there for just one day, focus on the rides and the parades and skip the souvenirs, because after the fireworks, shops are still open. An hour, 2 hours after closing time, after the fireworks show, you can still buy your souvenirs. In Main Street, but also outside of the Disneyland Park, in Disney Village, in the several shops and in World of Disney.
Another advantage of buying your souvenirs at the end of the day is that you don't have to carry them around the whole day.
That's a big plus. So now we are curious. Have you done Disneyland Paris in only one day? How did it go? Do you have any experience that you would like to share with us?
How did you spend your day and what would you change if you would do this again? Join in the discussion and leave a comment down below.
And you can also find us on social media. We are on Twitter, Facebook and Instagram. On our social media we share a lot of stories, not just about Disneyland Paris, but also a bit about our private life. So if you'd like to see more of us, find us on social media. So with that being said, maybe next time we'll see you in Main Street.
Bye! Well, I got a feeling they're still watching.
Always watching, guys.
Always watching.
But it's over.
It's over.
Just go home.
Go.
Go, guys.